let's move to clause number 5.9. 5.9, inventory of information and other associated assets. An inventory of information and other associated assets, including owners, shall be developed and maintained. While the requirement is very straightforward, all you need is an inventory register with mention of the owners of the inventory. But this is going to be a very important document going forward. So, while right now, as part of our 8.5.9, nothing specific, very simple requirement. All you need is a list of all your information assets, including owners. This has to be maintained. 5.10, acceptable use of information and other associated assets. Rules for acceptable use and procedures for handling information and other associated assets shall be identified, documented and implemented. So ideally organizations will have a acceptable usage guideline document. So all you need to do is to verify whether such procedures are available as an organization or not, and whether these procedures have been implemented or not. 5.11, personnel and other interested parties as appropriate shall return all organization assets in their possession upon change or termination of their employment contract or agreement. Two things. One is termination, and the other is change of employment. So as auditor, you should seek list of everyone who's attrited, seek list of role changes. I will want to see what is the last working day. Let's say Ramesh has attrited. I would want to see when was the last working day for Ramesh, when was he deprovisioned from the system, when was the return of assets done. Similarly, role change. So this is role number 1, this is role number 2. Now that this gentleman has moved from being a project manager on one project to project manager of the other, what associated assets must be returned is a question that you have to ask and verify whether dates are in keeping with the dates of disassociation with that relevant project. Simple requirements. 5.12 and 5.13 are literally the backbone of information security. 5.12, classification of information. Information shall be classified according to information security needs of the organization based on confidentiality, integrity, availability, and relevant interested party requirements. Information security, ideally, you will see that organization will have a very definitive classification scheme. Most organizations will want to classify their documents in 4 heads. One, which is referred to as restricted set of documents. Mostly this is for named individuals only. You would have confidential documents. Could be for a team. Internal documents. Could be team or the organization as a whole, and public. So as auditor, first things first, you should verify whether classification scheme exists or not. You cannot describe what a classification scheme should have. It is an organizational discretion whether they want to do these four, they want to do something else. As auditor, that is nothing for us to do. We have to verify whether classification scheme exists or not. I will want to see whether the classification scheme has been communicated to the organization or not. So ideally you will see this being part of the training program. I will want to see whether internal audits are covering this extensively or not. ISO 27001 requires you to ensure that information be classified according to the information security needs of the organization based on CIA and relevant interested parties. Similarly, labeling an appropriate set of procedures for information labeling shall be developed and implemented in accordance with the information classification scheme adopted by the organization. Very straightforward need, very similar to the classification scheme. So much in line with the classification scheme. Labeling also is generally done in the same way. So files containing restricted documents, disk containing restricted documents must be labeled. Disk containing confidential information must be labeled. So labeling structure, a procedure around how labeling has to be done is to be put in place, and as an auditor we need to verify if that has been adopted by the organization, that is being implemented. Like I'm saying, check for the procedure, check for communication of this procedure, check if it has been audited, obviously check if it is being implemented. 5.14 Information transfer rules, procedures and agreements shall be in place for all types of transfer facilities within the organization and between the organization and other parties. Information transfer procedures are mostly available for all organizations, so you will have some standard operating procedures put in place for information transfer. Verify if there is a policy, there is a procedure that is in place. Verify if this procedure is being followed. Very straightforward, not too much to do from a 5.14 perspective.